1:30 my time.
So 4:30 EST.
Yeah.
It's fine with me.
It's okay by me.
Okay. Well, my only beef with that is that that's at the end of the day as opposed to the beginning of the day, so you can't really take action based on what you say. So that's the only conflict there.
Well, you can actually just change on the thing, like what you're gonna do tomorrow, and what you did today instead of what you did yesterday.
Okay. Well, that's a good. Well, let's try it and see how it works. That's a good.
Because
good
I
thought.
think this is revolutionary, right? Like I have never met any group that can actually make this work.
So let's break some barriers here. Well, I'm cool with that then. So let's just try it, right? I'm all about let's do the science approach and experiment. So 4:30 p.m. Each day, and if that starts to just not work, we'll try to tweak it. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So our first one is Monday at 4:30. I will set up a Slack, a reminder for that as well, so we can do that. Cool.
Perfect.
All right. Now
We'll
let's.
keep the regular meetings at 3 p.m. on Fridays.
On Friday we will not have a stand up. We'll just because we'll have the regular meeting. So no stand up on Friday.
At 3 o'clock?
Yeah. Well, unless you guys can do 2 o'clock. I think it'd be great if we could move it to 2 o'clock every Friday instead of 3. But I want you guys to make sure that's okay with y'all.
Yeah, the earlier the better for me.
It's okay by me too.
Fine with me.
Okay, so awesome. So every Friday at 2 instead of 3 will be our regular meeting.
Yeah.
Great.
We'll not record the meetings, the stand-up meetings, right? So
No.
it'll just be regular hangout. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. The other cool thing is, let's just do a quick demo for you guys. If I can get my machine working here. Screen share entire screen. I think this is going to work. Now, y'all can see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Let me see if I can. Come on. Oh yeah, that's right. That's fine. This is a bogus way of starting Visual Code, but that's the way I do it. Okie dokie. So hopefully this guy will work, but I'm going to quickly go through some stuff. So I got rid of gulp. I don't know if y'all saw that. Everything is now an NPM script, and I know this is hard to see, so let me make it bigger. Close that. So now if you want to see everything, it's an NPM script. So NPM setup, install coils, or whatever. You guys shouldn't actually have to mess with any of this, but it's all installed, which is pretty cool.
So those are all just bash scripts to do everything
whatever.
Gulp was doing.
Yep.
Okay.
And
why did you get rid of Gulp?
What'd you say?
Why did you get rid of Gulp?
Because we can do everything with NPM, and it's an extra dependency with extra code, and it's just kind of like instead of having one hammer, we have two hammers. So It's like which one to use. This simplifies it. So that's something to be aware of. And then the other cool thing I want to show you guys is now we can serve up our lovely stuff here. So if I say npm watch, is that right?
No run?
Yep, thank you. Okay, so let's just see npm run monitor or logs. Lovely. Okay, and I can show you some other cool stuff in a second. Let me open up a web browser here. Did it work? boom, there we go. So this is our first route that we've created, and it's actually talking to the database and showing all the data we have in there. So I need to actually run. Come on, baby. Why is it not giving me a new? There we go. New. Excuse me. I didn't have too much time to set up everything, so I apologize for having to do this on the fly.
Every time you do things on the fly, it makes me a little depressed.
Depressed?
Yeah, because you're so fast at doing this thing. I'm light years behind you. But it's okay.
It's just muscle memory. That's all. Muscle memory.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
for 10 years now.
it'll get there. You just have to do it a bunch of times. So why in the world do we have genomes in there? That's weird. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to see here is why in the world that I'm not seeing all my genomes when I run this this command. I'm only seeing 2, and I should see 6, which is that's what I was confused about. They're all in there. Well, buggers. I'll get to that in a second. I guess figure that out. It's not a big deal. So if we later. So if we come over here and look at this stuff. Oh goodness, I see too many things here. What we got now is in the routes folder. We have a genome subdirectory and then a Git. And so this basically means run whenever a user runs an HTTP GET request on the /genomes route, which you'll notice that's this guy right here /genomes. And we prefix all the routes with v1. So this get/genomes will call get.js, and you can see there's quite a bit to this code. I'm being sarcastic. Basically, it does some magic behind the scenes to make it easy because we'll probably be doing a lot of this. But root helper, let's see if where did I put root helper? Right here. So root helper, it's basically calling the find all handler function, and I just started building this out. I haven't had a chance to finish it. But basically, we populate this with okay, so here's our root helper class, which we're pulling into here, and we're passing it the genome model, and then calling on the helper find all handler. So what this does is basically it takes the genome model, runs a find all, and works with limit and offset, and then spits out the entities into the web page. So that's why we can do things like over here we can say, well, I want to limit equals 1, and now it will. I did the wrong thing. Per page equals 1. There, and so now it shows us the first one because it's only showing me 2 for whatever reason. I don't know why. And then you can also say, well, you can specify the page. So now you can see ID equals 2. Say 1, 3. Hey, now it's showing. I don't know why it didn't show us. Maybe I need to do this. There's all 6 of them. Yay! I don't know. I guess my per page is set for 2 for whatever reason. And so, yep, here's my problem. Okay, default per genome per page is 5. So if I save that, now this is pretty cool. I don't know. I may be jumping around here.
I'm following. I don't know the guys, but.
So what I did, I didn't click anything in here, but I changed this file. So let me just see if I can show you guys a little better. I actually have it set up. Oh man, I only have 9% battery left. So if I come over here and I take this guy and I delete it and I say make 3 and I save it, watch what happens over here. I'm not typing anything. and you will see that it automatically detects the change and restarts the server for us. So if I come over here and take my per page off, because that's an override, and look at the default, I should have 3 genomes of it. 3.
So
right?
is it because you are in the some kind of debug mode or so, or?
So I haven't shown you why. There's this thing. If we go over to my package JSON, and what I ran actually was npm run watch. And what this command does is it actually uses a package called PM2, which is a special process managing software that does a lot of cool things for us, like tell us node usage, memory usage, and it can restart when files are changed or whatever. And so it's this is the software package that's doing all the magic for us. And it's so like you can see what all it does here: watch and reload, log management, key metrics, deployments, all the above. So here's it showing, monitoring all the memory and all that jazz. So that's what gets us able to do that magic out the box. Does that make sense?
Is it running always? Is it something running at the background or what?
Yes, it's actually, so if you look at the actual script I'm running, PM2, inside process JSON, it has my application details of how to run the Mist server, and it basically wraps that server, our code, and shuts it down and brings it back up. So yes, it is running as a wrapper to our actual API, but it's lightweight, to my knowledge, so not a big impediment.
Gotcha. Nice.
But you can see, like, if I come over here and I say npm run monitor, so you can see we're running one instance here, and it's taking up 53 megabytes of memory, and you'll see it spike. What's this puppy? Get out of here. Come on. So if we come over here, so I don't know if you'll be able to see, so I'm going to refresh the page, and you'll see that this all changes. You can see the CPU jumps up, the memory changes as I'm doing requests. And so this is kind of allowing the monitoring and so forth. It's very crude, but it gives you some kind of sense of what's going on here in Jazz. So anyways, I show you guys this because this is ultimately, now we're starting to expose an API, and this is what our front end will call, as well as you guys for your own scripts like Aquarium or whatever. Is we'll have a genes route and blah 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 blah, whatever we want. And so we're starting to build that out, and this is where I again see another point where you guys can really plug in is because you just have to write these. What happens when I call get on a gene, or what happens when I call get on domain architecture or search or whatever, and then you don't have to. You can implement those routes, straightforwardly. You don't have to build. You can do a lot with computation or other complicated stuff. So, anyways, is that kind of? I know it's a crash course. It's not meant to tell you how to do that or how you guys would implement it, but I want to get the concept down so that you can see what's going on there. Questions, thoughts?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
good to know that is new, but I don't know.
You don't know where you're going to go next here, right?
Yeah, no idea.
I understand. So, but to show you how easy it is to do something here, suppose I make a genes folder, and then I come over here and no, I don't want to do that. I want to new file, and I say get.js. I think I might have showed you something like this similarly before. My computer is going really slow here.
With 5% battery.
Yeah, and I'm about to plug in. Yeah, the battery is not helping me. Okay, so basically what I can do is say, come on now. This machine going slow is killing me. So I can say res.json. All right, so whenever we call the genes route, it's going to return Davi. So this goes to show how fast it's going. So now we come over here as soon as that finishes.
So what is it right now?
Module did not export a function here. I'm building a route for /genes.
Yeah, I got it. But why the memory usage was that high at that moment?
Because remember, PM2 detected that I changed the code, and it had to basically restart the server.
Okay.
And so, see here, it's doing it now. Now it restarted. I guess it had I had a bug there for a second, and so now we should be good. So now I should be able to come over here and say genes, and it should spit out Davi. Please make me right. Don't make me a liar. Hey, good. It gave me Davi. All right. So, this is what I mean. It's easy for you guys to plug in. Is basically you have to write this one whatever you want for this one function, and it will spit out the data. And you can see how easy it was to do that based on I just made a genes folder and then called it get.js and then added the code for that. So it's pretty straightforward as I think you're going to get, I think. Now I'm going to plug in here, so hang on a second.
Good, because I'm here with anxiety just watching this.
Me too. I'm just watching the number.
Yeah, I could not stop looking at this number coming down. Look at that. It's gonna. It's killing me.
I hope I can plug it in time. All right. Oh, man. There's no good spot for this puppy. The problem with vacation rental places. All right, I think we're gonna
This is the most exciting part of my day yet. You made it. That's awesome. Okay.
It reminds me of when my wife and I were vacationing in Australia, and we were trying to catch we were set to go to Tasmania on the ferry. But we were right before that. We were about an hour and a half outside of Melbourne, and we were doing this adventure obstacle course in the giant trees of Australia. It's basically you climb on these platforms way up high and basically do challenging obstacle courses way high up, and it was a ton of fun. But we finally finished that, and then we had to zip all the way over to downtown Melbourne to hop on the ferry to go to Tasmania, and woo, we just barely made it onto the boat, and it was exhilarating. It makes for a more exciting story, but we made it. We actually, one of the guys from the adventure course said, "Here, follow me. I know how to get you there quick." And so, man, it felt like a movie because we were just following this guy all these back roads and cuts in and out of this, and without him guiding us, we probably never would have made it. But anyways, a little exciting story there. So.
Awesome. That's cool.
Okay, so that's the roots, and I'm going to write up how all this is working and how you guys can plug into it. It's not something you guys will be able to do immediately, obviously, because there's a lot of education behind it.
Yeah, but like I see you're using middleware, so is that Bootstrap? Not Bootstrap, Express?
This is all Express, yeah. Are you familiar with Express?
Yeah.
You are? When have you used Express?
I'm using for my software. I thought you would, so I started learning from it.
Very good. Yeah, this is all Express crap. So then you'll feel a little bit more at home. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's why I'm more or less following. Like, I understand these routes. I know more or less what's going on, but
so I'm doing
some the limit of my knowledge here.
I'm doing some magic that you'll probably makes it a little harder to follow, and I'll show you that in a second. Because typically, what you would maybe do is you would say router.get/genomes, and then you would put in your functions there, right? Or router.post genes if you wanted to create one or whatever. Yeah. I have a special software that I wrote called PathRoutify, which basically allows me to model these routes with a folder structure. That's why I can put just create a folder called genes, and then the HTTP method that's supposed to be called, and that's the one that it calls, as opposed to spelling it all out in a single file. So that's why it's probably looking a little different than what you use.
Yeah.
So PathRoutify basically makes tab configure and then path to all the routes. which is this folder, and it traverses them all and automatically, dynamically figures them all out.
So then inside the root, you're gonna have get, post.
Yep.
Okay.
All those things, exactly, and it can nest too. So, if, for instance, we want to say genomes and say ID, and then new file get.js. So in here, let's just see if I can show you how this would work. It goes so much faster when it's on battery. Which one is this? This is my $.
That's probably like turn off every single core you had. It was just on the on the cache, the LM cache, the processor.
So let's just be a little bit. Yeah, it was definitely causing issues here. So let me just say, let me get the genome model equals app.get models .genome, and then I can say return genome.find where id rec.params.id.
Are you kidding me? It's gonna be like
that. Genome res.json genome cache next, and I'll explain the cache next. Okay, so we save it, and this hopefully will. Yep, there it restarts. Good. So now if I come back over here and go to genome/1, there's genome 1, right? If I say genome 6, there's 6.
Very cool.
Yeah, that works. So you can imagine very easily this being gene. And we can even do things like here. Let's do where accession equals rec.params.id. So we save that. Now we're going to be searching by accession. I'm going to restart. There it goes. So now if I do this, it should say not found, null. But if I do, oh crap, I need an accession number. ID accession and name from genomes. So there it is. So now we're searching by accession, right? So do y'all see how it works?
Yeah. Can I just take a look at this code again?
Yeah. So what's magic about this?
The request.
Variable rec.params.id, which is, again, if your folder it begins with a $, that gets injected into this variable name here. So I could have done this accession, and it would have also, I would just have to do this. So I'd say accession, and I come over here and say accession.
Luke, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the accession indexed?
I don't know. Let's see. It should be. Well, let's just do it the quicker way. Let's look at our migration and see if we did it. So genomes, it better be. If not, we will. Doesn't look like we do have an index. Oh, actually, yeah, I bet we do. I bet it's a unique index. Yep, unique right there. It's indexed.
Okay, so it makes sense to search for index with indexed fields, columns, right? Otherwise,
Absolutely.
it will be very slow.
Very much so. Very, very good point. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think we do.
You have to be very smart about building the tables in order to get the data that we desire. Anyways, it's for later discussion.
You're very right, and then following on that, foreign keys are a very important thing to index. So, for instance, like on components, which a genome has many components, and it's referenced via the genome ID, and that's why we index the genome ID. But you're also going to want to look up, say, a component by its accession number. So we create another index for that guy. I think genes has the same thing. So yeah, we're creating an index on genes, component ID, ASIC ID, accession, and locus. These are all ways we would want to look that information up. So, but great point.
Yeah.
And you don't want to index if you're not going to use it because it chews through space and RAM and everything else. So
that was the question that I was going to throw. Okay.
You want to be strategic about it.
Okay. But it's not like a bottleneck, right? Of course, you don't want to put every single field as like as an index, but
Well, but at the same token, you're correct. You don't want to, but it can be a little bit of a performance hit because every index you have, say you're inserting new data, now it has to also update that index along with inserting the row itself. So there can be a performance hit in terms of when you're adding new data if you have the
I
more
see.
indexes you have as well. So once it's there, if you have the RAM, no, it's all good. But usually you don't have unlimited RAM and space.
Okay.
Speaking to that point, the server, there was some discussion about whether we should buy it or just, use a server in the cloud. And so just for comparison, with anything but databases, I think that makes a lot of sense. The reason being, to get a database with a lot of RAM would cost upwards of $300 a month for, well, the one I priced out on Amazon, it would, for 30 gigabytes of RAM, it would have cost us, I think, $360 a month. And just like, man, in a year, that's pushing $4,000.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't make sense for database servers of that nature to at least that I can find, to actually not have our own. Now, for all the other ones, yeah, I think it makes sense. Like our actual API instances that connect to the database and return data, those, it does make a lot of sense to spawn out to the cloud or whatnot. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about that stuff, and I will discuss that in more detail at length and hopefully write this up. But that's a little tangent there. I just wanted you guys to be aware of rationale for why we're buying the machine. Okay, so I went over the root stuff real quick, and it wasn't, again, it's a conceptual overview, and when we get ready, I will go into a deep dive on that to get you guys where you can actually use it. But I thought it was important that you guys understood that concept. And the other cool thing I want you to see from this is that we're getting to now a place where, Aquarium or these other guys can shortly or soon start to take advantage of the database. And this is I think, an exciting step for us. So that's the other major reason I wanted to point that out.
Look, I have a question, but I know we're running out of time. So you see you have this folder like a session there, and then you just like put a genome / a number, and then that's the session number on the route.
Yeah.
What if I want to search for, I think I answered my own question. If I want to search for ID and a session, I would make two folders in there, ID and a session, and then inside those folders I would make a folder with a $sign that would pass the right parameter, right?
In this case, I see what you're saying. I wish it worked that way, but it's a little more complicated. It's not that easy, I guess. I should actually make it where you can't do this. I think this would work it, because now it's like, well, the browser has no way, or Express has no way of knowing, is this an extension or an ID? We don't know, right?
But that doesn't make any sense anyways. So what I was saying, like, you just make these folders without the $sign, and then put these folders with the $sign inside them. And then you have a route that is genomes, a session. Then you put the session number of the genome, and then that works.
So you're saying your thing would look like this, right? Your route. Yeah. Yep, that could be it. But I think a slightly. I think so. We want one primary way of identifying things, and then after that, an alternate way of identifying things. So, like for instance, we'll probably say if we want to find something different, we might say query equals, I don't know, GCF, whatever, and then it would query all the fields for this one or the ones that are relevant, or say, coli, if we want to search for names with coli in it. It's like a query, but if you're trying to identify a very specific record, we'll have this kind of thing in here. Yeah. And my intention is that this can either be like an accession or it can be an actual number. And the way we would implement that is we would just, we might rename. Let's go ahead and delete this guy. Delete that guy. Yes, I'm gonna move that to the trash. I'd probably say the or accession, something like that, and then. All right, so now what that basically does say, it searches this value against either of those, and if either of them match, then we got a match. Cool. So that's kind of another hacky way of doing it. That's not how I'd want to implement it in the long run, but I think it'll work. Is my we rebooted? May have not have worked here. So that works. And that did not work. Well, so I have some syntax going on here, weird, but that's kind of the idea. We would search for either or, and that was related to our previous discussion of two different ways to reference a genome, either by its or a gene or anything. The external world will pretty much only use the the accessions, because those are going to be stable even if we change our internal identifiers. But our front end may actually, just for performance reasons, only use like these guys or something. So, but I don't want to kind of go on that, but that's how that would work.
Very nice.
Okay. Roots. Last thing I really want to tell you guys. So we're going to document this stuff, and because this is super important. If you don't document it, people aren't going to use it. They'll be like, huh? And so the tool we will be using for this, I did a bunch of research and kind of landed on this one, API Blueprint. And so this is kind of like how you would document it. And what we will do is once we document it like that, we can use a tool called Aglio to generate actual static HTML that people can actually browse and use. So, for instance, I think we might use like a Slate theme here. So this is kind of what our API would look like as far as documentation. So this is their mock-up here. But if get/genomes could be over here. This is your response 200. These are your headers. This is what the body will look like, and this is kind of the schema. So this is kind of how our API documentation will look for all the routes and so forth. And again, using the tool API Blueprints with Aglio. So something to be aware of, and I'll again get a template out there that we can easily model it all. But I want us to encourage that you don't write a root without writing documentation for it, because otherwise it's just a lot harder to go back and do. So that makes sense, y'all?
Yeah.
Cool. So a lot of these pieces are coming together, I feel. I think the only other stuff that we have are errors that Davi wanted to talk about, which we didn't get to. I'm sorry I dominated the conversation all over again. And I also, so I really want to get traction on moving forward with a lot of these action items. So Ogun and I are set to integrate his taxonomy on Monday and work through that together. I'm looking forward to that. The other thing is, the transmembrane business. I wanted to kind of let you know where that is. I tried running Phobius on Docker, and it just doesn't work. I think there's a weird issue with, I don't know what it is. Ogun had uploaded a HMM2 or whatever, along with the Phobius source code to a private directory on Google that he shared with us. I was able to get HMM2 actually running and figure that out, so it's just more a matter of implementation. So if you guys think that's the right one to move forward with, I would like to see, Amit, if we can get you to work through an implementation of that, and I can, I'd like to set up a meeting if we can, get that moving forward as well too for this next week. Does that seem like a good idea to you guys?
Sure. The reason why I made that directory online is because we will need to download these tools requiring licenses. And we already got the license, right? So, but we will not be exposing these sensitive data, and that's why I just created that directory on Google Drive for now.
That's a great. I love that approach. I think it's great. So kudos on thinking that out. And I think that's what others are going to have to do as well. So, all right. So it looks like HMM2. Does that get you guys blessing as far as the transmembrane prediction service?
Yeah, it's good enough.
All right then.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Ogun, do you know any paper that benchmark?
Oh.
So the one thing that concerned me is the source code is from like 1998. It's like forever old ago, and so it seems to me that in 20 years we should have something more modern. But I am again just relying on you guys to kind of.
Dude, transmembrane predictions are easy.
What?
I mean, we can still do more research on transmembrane regions.
Well, I'd like to really put this one to bed if we could this coming week. So, Amit or Ogun, I'd like one of you guys to really take the lead and put the nail in the coffin on this because it's been hanging over our heads for quite some time. So, I just really want to move on beyond it if we can. So, research, if we need to do research, let's do that. If you need some help, we can, pull me in or whoever, and we'll just do it together.
Sure, if you guys need something.
Okay.
But I think like it will be probably the paper that came out with the TMAJMM2 or DAS. One of the two will have to benchmark this against the previous.
And the papers are very old though. Like it's not like they came out recently.
Which
I don't
one?
know, I'll have to check. All of these tools, like
So
TMHMM2, DAS,
there's no modern transmemory prediction tool out there.
Dude, it's probably a buried subject. People already trust these things and they're done.
Well, if that's the case, then that's the case. But let's figure that answer out, and move on.
I mean, what we can do, that we might actually just think, if you're concerned about the code, is just to recode it.
No, I don't care about the code. I was more caring about the quality of data. I mean, I do care about the code a little bit, but it's more just like, have we not made any progress on this, or is it really just that so much of a commodity that nobody needs to mess with it again?
Yeah, I think it's easier to test in the lab, so nobody really needs a very good prediction.
Okay. So, well, okay.
I mean, that would be my guess. Signal peptide and all these things are like 10 years older, 15 years older. Old.
So, Amit, I'd like you to take the lead on that if you could,
Okay.
and let's get this done this next week. Again, pull us in if you're running into a roadblock. Don't wait to get us involved. And then, awesome. So I'm working with Ogun on Monday, and probably Amit once we get some clarity on how to move forward on that one. And then Davi, are you free or are you still locked down for your conference?
No, I'm good. I'm done. I just came back from the conference. Now
Now you're ready.
This week, I'm normal, but I still cannot dive in 100% on Mist. Well, this is how it's gonna be for the rest. So like this is my 100% on Mist can be done now.
Okay, so let's set up a meeting and let's get your gene cluster module integrated and going.
Okay.
So I can probably do this on Monday too, with you if you like. Just juggling it with Ogun's schedule or whatnot. So, anyways, let's.
Are you available all day on Monday?
What'd you say?
Are you going to be available all day on Monday?
Well, I think we're leaving probably from mid-morning or late morning to the end of the day, and then I'm done with my vacation for however long. I don't know the next time I'm off. So so maybe let's do this. Let's do it right after lunch, and then Davi, we can pick up on maybe on Tuesday morning, and then and we'll get Amit in there afterwards. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on, which day?
Well, I'm waiting for you to figure out what the.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you get that to me, we'll pick a day and we'll go through it.
Okay.
Cool. So stand up. Okay. So to recap, stand-ups at 4:30 every day except Friday. When we'll have a group meeting also.
There'll be a Slack on this, right?
What?
There'll be a Slack bot reminding us about this, right?
Yeah, I got a note to update Slack on that.
I'm gonna also put in my calendar, so.
That'd be good. And Amit, the other thing we got on your list is this machine and moving that forward. And then I'm going to get the Strider, our continuous deployment server rolling, and then also some of the infrastructure where it's not just our API is not running locally; it's actually out there on the cloud that we can access and start to do cool things with. So I think we got a real exciting week coming up, guys. If we could push forward on all these fronts, I think we would have a big morale booster and be pretty pleased with where we land. So let's make next week really rock and roll. So sound good? Any questions, feedback?
I have a question.
Yes.
Since you guys said 4:30 was okay, I wonder if 5 would also be okay for the stand-up.
It will be for me.
It's fine.
The closer we get to 5, the trickier it is for me, but I can try. Is that significantly better for you?
It's because things in Caltech it's 2-hour blocks. So if there's a talk at 12, it'll go into 2.
Oh, I gotcha.
So, for example, there's a very important faculty hiring process panel that actually they're teaching us how hiring process goes, and this goes from 11:30 to 2 p.m. But I can skip the last 30 minutes. It's just questions and stuff like that.
Well, let's see if we can't do 5 then, and I'll let you guys know if that.
Well, for Monday, let's keep it 1:30. So 1:30 to 1:40. Is that what it is?
Oh, so Monday's 4:30. Wait, I'm confused. What?
You're
was
right.
it?
4:30.
So
I
we're
was
not.
just 4:30.
Monday it's 4:30.
Yeah, every day. Let's do 4:30. I will rearrange this. So 4:30 to 4:40. That's more or less.
Miss your important stuff here.
What?
I don't want you to miss your important stuff.
No, it's okay. It's just at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you need to hang tight and just let us know beforehand or sometime during, and we can slack it out and we can try and be pretty flexible on the fly.
Yeah. If there's something really really super important, I might skip one. But yeah, let's do that on the fly. But I'm really committed to make this work. It's gonna put some routine in my day. So this is more important than missed for me. It's just some sort of organization. This is good. I'm really trying to do this with my life now. So.
Well, I'm glad we can contribute to a better life.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
All right, guys. Slack me if you need anything else, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye.